Hi, I'm James Ashton. I'm here today at Facebook Community Boost London, and to tell me a little bit more about the event, I'm with Helen Smith, who for Facebook looks after all of the company's relationships with small and medium-sized businesses in the UK. Hi Helen.
Hi, lovely to meet you.
Great to meet you. So downstairs we've got the conference going on, and then all the entrepreneurs and SMEs that are here will come upstairs, and there's a range of stands and case studies and experts for them to talk to, and I guess the idea is people who can help them do business better.
Absolutely. So Facebook Community Boost, this is actually our 12th stop around Europe, and we started this really to be able to connect businesses and actually talk to them about how they can actually grow their business and leverage the platforms across Instagram and Facebook. Also, it's a great opportunity for businesses to network. A lot of entrepreneurs find that they're really quite lonely on their own, that island, man on an island feeling, and when they come to events like this, they just find great nuggets of information and also great solidarity in creating a community of other entrepreneurs trying to grow their businesses.
So it's still good to have a physical network?
It is absolutely always good.
So we're going to talk through a few of the stands, a few of the examples and things that you've got on this floor today, and we're going to start off with Instagram stories.
Yeah,
so tell me about this. This is a fairly new addition, relatively speaking, to the company.
2 years old. So earlier this year we actually passed 1 billion monthly active users on Instagram, and about 2 years ago we launched Instagram Stories, and already we're seeing 400 million daily active users using Instagram Stories. I mean, the growth of Instagram Stories is something that we hadn't expected. So it's really been phenomenal. And what's incredible about it is that people are having great fun with it, but also users, there's 60% of users are actually discovering new businesses on Instagram every month. So it's a great place for businesses to grow.
Why would one of your clients choose to do something through Instagram and Instagram Stories as opposed to using the Facebook platform?
I think the combination is of both. So actually, when we actually advise people is to let the algorithm find the people who are most likely going to want to engage with your product or your service. And that is across our family of apps. So it's Facebook, Instagram Stories, all of our family of apps. So it's a really great way for people to engage. And as you can see here, it's a really playful way for people to engage.
Yeah, it's very bright, it's very engaging. You would think it actually takes quite a bit of learning, but I'm sure you're going to tell me as we walk around it's just a doddle.
Well, it's amazing. What we discovered is when we first launched Instagram Stories, it was the really small independent businesses that started to be brave and play with it. And it was the larger businesses who actually started looking and saying, gosh, we should be doing something a little bit more like that. So it's actually about taking risks and actually trying something new. There's a lot to do with stories, and you can play with it, and a lot of businesses are really adopting it and seeing great growth. We're seeing a lot of direct response advertising growth coming through Instagram Stories with the growth of 400 million every day.
Okay, interesting. Well, let's wander around and see what else we can see. So as you said, this is around Europe, but I notice also Community Boost is global. I mean, it was in Baltimore a few days ago.
Absolutely. It's really about kind of bringing businesses together and actually showing them how to leverage the platform. So we've got a lot of our team here today to answer any number of questions. There's no silly question, because Facebook and Instagram is a really powerful platform when you get it right. Facebook is great for businesses trying to find people, as I said, most likely going to want to buy their product or service. I'm going to take you to something that's really, really close to my heart. A few years ago we conducted some research with females in the UK, and we discovered that 1 in 10 women wanted to start their own business but hadn't. And from that we just wanted to know why. And the reasons won't surprise you. It was really down to a lack of confidence and a lack of digital skills. So a couple of years ago we actually launched She Means Business, which is a program to help women understand digital skills and actually to inspire them as well. So we partnered, we saw Enterprise Nation earlier, so we partnered with Enterprise Nation, and they have just been a rock solid partner for us. They've actually trained 13,000 women in digital skills since we launched this program. We've launched this program all over the world, in markets all over the world. And the inspiration, like Mel from This Mum Runs, she actually started a running group, and literally she had just had her child, and just kind of thought, I think I'll start a running group and post it on Facebook, anyone up for a run in this park. And she thought maybe one person turned up. 60 women turned up to that run, and now she's actually turned that passion from a Facebook group into a business. So now she's selling running apparel, but more than any of this is that she's a greatly inspiring story for other women and other entrepreneurs.
And in her example, was it the case that she had the passion but didn't perhaps have the confidence or necessarily know where to go from a hobby into a business?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And to be honest, it's a story I hear with female entrepreneurs day in and day out. They have really great ideas and incredible passion to start these businesses, but they're wondering, how do I get this going? And you know, it can be pretty daunting for any entrepreneur. And for female entrepreneurs, we really just wanted to inspire them, give them the digital skills, and we're seeing phenomenal businesses growing out of this and taking off and starting to export abroad as well.
Yeah, and I think there are some examples here to talk about. I mean, as we said, the Community Boost is about learning the skills, but it's also about the plugging into the network, the social network, but the physical network.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Picking up some advice.
I love this wall. This is all about kind of sharing advice for women, putting up, what I talked about earlier was networking, and that is a huge part. Meeting somebody, looking in the white of their eyes, and being vulnerable and saying, I don't know where to start, or I really am passionate about this, but I'm not exactly sure what the next footing is. And there's a lot of questions and openness here where people are actually sharing experiences. And people like Mel, who's been on that journey, she's been really inspirational to say, don't turn back now, this is how you should call me at any stage. People are really helping one another.
And of course, I think there are 1,000 people due today and tomorrow at Community Boost, so there's plenty of whites of the eyes to be seen.
Totally. Yeah, it's a really great vibe here today, and we're going to see more and more of this interaction. We've heard earlier on stage as some of our panelists who are real experts on Facebook, these customers who are really growing their business with Facebook, they are learning new things from their other client council members or other businesses here. So it's all about learning. And to be honest, that's a huge part for us as well. We want to be constantly learning what can we do better for businesses to help them grow their business. So what's working for you, what's not working for you, we're agile that way and we want to learn more.
So you're learning as well today?
I'm always learning.
Right, okay. Let's go on to the next,
Absolutely.
The next stop.
So I'm going to take you through to creative.
Okay.
So this is our creative shop and creative mobile studio. So a huge part of what we talk about is that image. So actually a really interesting stat is that users actually when you're scrolling through your newsfeed, you should really maybe think about how you're scrolling through your newsfeed, because on average people only spend 1.7 seconds on an image, but that doesn't actually impact brand recall. So people are actually able to visualize and actually pull in an image. It was actually interesting. I think in 2014, MIT did a study that showed that the human brain can recognize and compute an image 60,000 times faster than words. So creative and the imagery that you're using to use your product and actually tell that story about your brand is hugely important. So we've got our creative shop team who are always on the ready, full of ideas and helping people tell their story on Facebook and Instagram. 1.7
seconds, so actually you compare to the 30-second TV ad, the media has sped up, as we know.
Yeah, I think a big mistake that people are making is that they're not really listening to the behaviors that people are having on platforms like on mobile. So if you've got a really amazing creative that works well on TV for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, on average we'd ask people to cut that down for the first round to maybe 15 seconds, because you need to get that thumb-stopping moment, right? To say, yes, James, that's the product I want and I really engage with your product. And then as we bring customers through your funnel, then you're retargeting that audience with maybe a longer version of that video, and that is highly effective.
This must be a world away from 8 years ago when you joined.
Totally.
Facebook. What was the relationship then with SMEs?
Well, we had obviously a smaller relationship, but at the heart of everything we're doing at Facebook is about users. And users are actually getting inspired and saying, I actually want to start my own business, I want to move to another country. And we're starting to see local markets are now becoming global. So maybe 10 years ago, it was really difficult or near impossible for SMEs to export. It was all about capital, it was all about labor, but now it's about technology and it's about knowledge. So the small business that is in Cardigan in Wales, like Hoyt Denon, in a really small village, 20% of their sales is now exported to North America and Central Eastern Europe, which is just the power of mobile. So it's really great. I mean, you're able to actually see, we've got a couple of clients, there's one I was speaking to the other day, I won't name them, but they gave me a call and said, Helen, our target market is the UK, but we're getting loads of orders in from Russia. And we started looking at that, and actually Central Eastern Europe as well, and we're seeing that the product that they're making, tweed hats, were very popular in different markets, so they were actually seeing a lot more of that.
So that's what you call a high quality problem.
Oh, it's a great problem.
The revenue's coming in, then don't worry.
A high quality problem is the problem that David from Hyatt Denim has, which he's trying to actually get through his back orders. He said our marketing team have to lay down low for a little bit because we're selling too much, which is not a bad problem.
Well, let's talk about one more that you can talk about. So let's go over to talk about Silk Thread. This is one that you saw recently, I think.
Yeah. So I was in Emma's office yesterday. She is an absolute inspiration. So Emma started Silk Thread a couple of years ago. In the interim, she's had twin baby girls. So she's a rock star and has actually moved her offices to Brick Lane and has about 100 employees there. And the interesting thing about Emma is that she is paving the way for how e-com and retail is really going, the trends that they're going. So Emma has in her offices a studio downstairs, and they have racks and rafters clothing, and they have photographers using their mobile, using new and fresh apps all the time to create imagery, and they are uploading new images every 2 to 3 hours because that's the demand. People are constantly looking for what I'm going to wear on a Friday night, what I'm going to wear next week.
So this is what they call fast fashion. But it's got a bit faster.
Oh my gosh. And actually the logistics have had to keep up with it. So distribution centres have had to speed up.
And so what is she selling? It is fashion. It is clothing.
It's women's clothing. It's really phenomenal. But she's constantly having to figure out how other partners can actually speed up with the speed at which they've actually created.
I suppose the challenge was, back in the day, people were a bit wary about buying clothes online because you couldn't feel it, you couldn't wear it, you couldn't see the cut. Obviously, we've got all past that now, but it is, I suppose, just about how you can most bring the product to life online.
Absolutely. It's all, as I said earlier, about the creative. But it's really funny, when you look at the behaviour of her demographic, if they're going out on a Friday night, they'll buy 5 or 6 black dresses, and they'll decide, okay, well, I might wear this one this Friday night, and I might wear that one in a couple of weeks' time. But occasion wear, somebody will actually spend time choosing that and spend a bit longer process choosing that item for a higher priced purchase.
I wonder how many black dresses any person needs.
Oh, you can never have enough. James, never have enough.
Okay, I'm sure my wife would agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And is there anything, given that you're working with all of these SMEs and these businesses who are meant to be pushing the boundaries, is there anything you think that can't be sold online? I mean, are we going to get to the stage where people are buying a house and a car sight unseen? Yeah,
so it's really funny you mention that. 2 stories there that just come to mind because we were actually only talking about it last week. So we've had a lot of auto retailers basically saying, how do we get people through the door? They've used our product called Lead Ads, and they'll actually target, say you're looking for a nice new Audi or BMW, might target you, and you will click through and actually say, yeah, I'd like a test drive. And they're literally getting funneled through qualified leads for people who really want to buy a new Audi, and I'd like to book my test drive, and they've done very quickly. So they're qualified leads, which is great. Also, there's a great business when I look at some of the unsexy businesses like plumbing and accountancy. I've seen some businesses actually take a really creative approach to this. So there's a great plumbing business called Morgan Plumbing, and they have decided that if you have a plumber, right, you probably want to be recommended a plumber or somebody coming into your home. So they've actually done black and white profiles of all the guys in the office who are the plumbing team, and they actually do fun, enjoyable kind of profiles of those people. And people have started following them and listening to their stories. So they just connect with them that little bit more. And it's really interesting. They've taken a fun approach to something that's maybe not so sexy a business.
No, sure. You realise you've lost all the plumbers and particularly the accountants have all switched off now.
Yeah.
But assuming that all the creatives are still watching, we'll move on to the
Absolutely.
to the last one. Tell me about Gallery of Groups.
So I suppose at the heart of Facebook mission is about connecting people and making really meaningful connections. And that's what our groups is about. The groups product is amazing. It spans between businesses, it spans between communities of groups. So here's an example. This is Troy Lee, and Troy Lee is hearing impaired, and a couple of years ago himself and some friends went to a nightclub, and because they were signing, they were turned away. So he just said, this is absolutely not right. There's a huge community here. So he started a group, and actually, as you can see, he's created an unbelievable following here. And on the business side, we've got businesses who've maybe turned their passion into a business, like Mel Bound from This More Months.
So this one very much was a special interest, a very special interest that he's turned into a business. And when you talk about the groups, is this about the SMEs and your clients getting together with almost a captive customer base, or is it about like-minded businesses sharing ideas? Because in business you're meant to be very competitive and sort of not share, cover up when you're doing the exam.
Dog eat dog.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, we're seeing that across the board, that people want to connect. So we've got some who are, you say, I'm an expert in this particular field, and there's people coming in to learn on that field. But then we've got other communities of, say, like Troy's community, who are actually like-minded individuals. And who knows what kind of business can spring from that, or just as meaningful is making those connections. We've seen a lot of people with, say, very rare diseases actually creating Facebook groups and actually meeting other people with those very rare diseases all around the world. And making a connection with somebody who has something in common with you is, no matter where they live, is really, really at the heart of what we're trying to do is connect our communities.
Okay, fantastic. So plenty to discover at Facebook Community Boost London. Thank you to Helen, and lots more to come from here over the next day. Thank you.